How we doing? I'm not gonna insult your language by trying to speak it. So it's like I do speak a little too fast, and I apologize. But I'll try to compensate by speaking really loud. I'm sure that helps, right? It's like so let's get on. The one caveat to this talk is I'm doing most of the slides in memes. So because I love Hack in Paris, and I was here last year, and it was an awesome experience and stuff, I actually created this is actually my creation. My first meme I've ever created was this one. And so what I did, because I don't know how well Europeans are into memes, so just to make sure, if you look right there, on each slide there's a meme, you will see what to Google. So if you Google the name and then put meme right behind it, it'll take you right to the meme I'm talking about, and then later you can go, okay, that was sort of funny. It's like right now you may not understand it, but it's like, trust me, they're hilarious. So that's the first meme I created. I was very proud of it. The rest are not mine. So basically what this talk is about is it's not really a talk. I created almost an hour-long rant and disguised it as a 45-minute talk. So I hope you like it. But it's basically, we hear about all the things about how people are getting in and breaking into other people's stuff. But I'm talking about what we in security are doing wrong, how we're failing the business, how we're not doing what we should be doing to help our clients, to help our companies and stuff, to do better. So it's real cheerful. So that's the reason why I put a lot of memes in there, so you at least have some kind of laugh. So there we go. There's that. A little bit about me. It's like not really much to know. I'm very paranoid, so it just happens. It's like this actually happened in Brussels one time and stuff, with the cab driver. I was like, oh my God, where am I going? But I'm one of those guys, make sure you have the Google Maps going, so you got the route going. It's like as soon as they take that wrong turn, where did you go? Where are we going this way? So that's just, I can't help it. They are out to get me. So anything you want to know about me, you can find out. It's like I do blue team though. That's the one thing I want you to know is that I do defense. When I leave here and I go back to work, I'm going back to a cubicle. I got my little action figures on it. I got my IDS systems, my firewalls, all my stuff. I love it. I love doing blue team. I love attacking. I love doing red team too, and I do that stuff as my night job. But I do both. And it's like I like rooting for the good guys, and I like, when I'm able to defend against something. And not only be able to defend against it, but realize that's probably how the attacker was going to get in and make sure there was a defense to counter it. That's awesome. It's like, oh, you try to do that too? I thought you would. You can't get in. It's like, that's fun. That's challenging. So that's what I do. Here's the contents. It's like we're almost through it. I'm going to actually explain to you what selling elephant whistles are. And I'm going to talk about situational awareness and how we can get upper management buy-in to the security process. And then I'm going to talk about how we can better educate our employees. And then I'm going to talk to you about how, InfoSec, scene sucks really bad. So that's going to be another popular one as well. Let's start off with 2005. I gave a talk to a couple of colleges, because no conference would want to hear it, about getting upper management buy-in to the security process. And I called it selling elephant whistles. And it was based on this really bad joke that I heard one time. And it was, a guy was walking down the street, and he sees this man was walking down the street, sees a guy with a shoebox that said elephant whistles, $10, in black marker and stuff on the box. And the guy goes up to him and he says, why would I spend $10, it's like, which is probably like €3 for you guys, but it's like, why would I spend $10 on this cheap plastic whistle? And the man said, no. This is elephant whistles. Elephants can't stand the sound of these whistles. They won't be in a 10-mile radius. They'll protect you if they stampede. It's like you'll be totally protected. And the guy's like, well, how do I know they work? And the man looked around and said, do you see any elephants? I didn't say it was a good joke, okay? I specifically said it was a bad joke, okay? But it's like, but that's what we do in information security. That's part of our job, is to sell elephant whistles. We go to the CIO, we go to the CSO, we go to the CEO, we go to all our upper management people at the end of the year, and we say, we spent this much money, but look how little happened. And if you want to make sure nothing else is going to happen, we need another $10 million and stuff, so we can make sure nothing else shows up. How do you prove the negative? How do you actually get them to invest in money when they see absolutely no return on it? Because just like, they say in that movie, The Recruit, and something about the CIA, your successes are secret. Your failures are public. You don't want to be known for what you do because then someone screwed up. So it's really hard sometimes to get that. Well, this is one of the things that I decided to talk about. And so I decided to rehash it and stuff, because I was doing a lot more red teaming stuff and people were interested in my talks. And I was like, I'm going to slip my white hat, defensive talk in and see if anybody notices. So hopefully y'all do. Why did I choose memes? Because memes are the perfect analogy to the information security scene. It's like we all try to figure out 5 billion different ways to say the exact same thing. It's like we hope it gets through. It's like we say, well, if I say it this way, maybe they'll understand. Or if I say it this way, maybe they'll understand. So it's like I decided to choose memes to see, hopefully tie that together and, get a chuckle. Because sometimes I get angry and stuff, and I'm not personally angry. So just remember to look at the slides and chuckle. The first thing that we need to understand is the crutch that we all have. We have a great crutch that we get to use in information security. Like IT oblivious boss guys, I'm the only person having issues sending emails. Restart your Exchange server. We've all had those moments. I have to tell you something though. Bosses aren't stupid. They know what they're doing. They know how to run a business, or they don't run it very long, or if you're in the U.S., it gets bailed out. But either way and stuff, you don't really get that many CEOs and CSOs that stay in their job long if they're not managing the company and making profit. So we have to stop this illusion and stuff, that we're dealing with stupid people that don't understand what we're doing. Because if we are dealing with people that don't understand what we're doing, we are failing. That means we're not educating them properly. We have to do a better job making sure they understand, because they're intelligent. They know how to run a business. They've done something. They convinced someone else, to run that company for them. So it's like we have to understand how we can communicate them. So we got to figure out ways that we can do that, and ways that we understand, we can communicate it to them so they can understand it. And it's possible. One of the best ways I've found out is what I call situational awareness. It's like the business guy, this deal smells fishy. Where do I sign? It's like, we put it in terms that they understand. So I've got a good story on situational awareness, which almost lost me my job, which was exciting. Was the CIO came to me. It was not my idea. I'll still state that on the record. And he decided to do a really cool April Fool's joke to the CEO of the company I work for. And he decided, hey, why don't you create a phishing site, and then on April Fool's Day, we'll send the email to the CEO and say that we were getting phished, and will be a great prank and everybody will laugh. He didn't understand how thorough I am. I actually scraped our whole entire website, hosted it on my website and stuff, at my house and stuff, an IP address. I then created a fake email account with a fake identity of another person and stuff, then sent that with the forged information and the DNS records forged from the Whois information. And we all sent that to the CEO. Well, 8:30 in the morning on a Friday, April Fool's Day, I'm sitting in the CIO's office. The CEO comes down, the COO comes down, and he's not part of the joke. Someone forgot to tell him part of it. So they're both sitting down in the office, and the CIO is going over like, yeah, we're looking into that and stuff. If you'll see this information right here, you'll see this looks a little suspicious. And that was the part where the CEO was going to go, oh, it's a joke. And the CEO was like, because it was done really well. I'm not trying to brag, but it's like it was done pretty good. He was like, oh, so he got compromised too. How did they do that and stuff, And then me and the CIO exchanged that look. That look you give the other guy when he got the joke and you got the joke, but the other guy didn't get the joke? Yeah, that one. And I was like, okay. So the CIO had to break down and tell them, well, it could be also the fact that it's like this is April Fool's Day. CEO was like this. He's like, oh, April Fool's Day. Okay. Stands up, walks out of the room. So I've got a great weekend of getting my resume ready and stuff, so that was good. I had a whole couple of days to get that ready before Monday. And I do go in and I tell the CEO that, not trying to save my job, I promise, and stuff, but I told him that when I did that scraping of the site, some IDS intrusion detection alerts came off. They went off while I was doing that. I know that I was doing something bad. Before that happened, I usually never looked at those. They were just regular alerts. But guess what? Now that I know that something bad was happening, they took on more weight. They were something now that I could see if something that alert goes off, they might be doing something bad. So I was able to create that situational awareness for the CEO. He realized this could happen. This could be real. I call that a high threat, low impact event. It's a high threat because it could take down your business. It's low impact because either someone that works for you or someone that has an NDA or a pen tester and stuff, has permission to do that kind of activity. So that's what we need to create. We need to have external pen testing. We need to have internal pen testing. We need to be able to create these kind of events to the CEOs and the CIOs to let them know this is how bad it can be. It's not because we're controlling it. Let them see that. I'm going to keep hitting that all the time. There we go. This looks really weird. Okay, so what we're going to do is we need to start creating these high threat, low impact events. We need to show them that because information security is proactive. Awesome. Management is reactive. So basically, we need to proactively make them react to something in a proactive manner. Easy. It's like, so, and that's the things that we do. It's like we need to create those kind of events proactively so they will know how to react to them when they actually happen. The funny part of that whole story is 3 months later, we had our actual first phishing attack. We responded like clockwork because the CEO was so freaked out about the April Fool's joke that we had a process put in after that happened. It's like, and so no one lost money. It's like we were able to respond and handle it and stuff, and take care of it. And it all started off with an April Fool's joke that I almost lost my job on. So that was good. It's like eventually. So another thing that we need to do besides situational awareness is we need to understand how they communicate. I love the fact that people, talk about pie charts and the graphs. It's like, oh, you got to make the pretty charts. Yes. They're your friend. Make charts, make graphs, because you know what those are? Numbers. Those are metrics. Those are something they can measure. They understand numbers. They understand metrics. If it got the CIO to do better in security and understand what I'm doing, to eat a pie, I'd eat a pie. It's like, I don't care about pie charts. Make as many pie charts as you can. How many emails come in that are spam in your environment? How many virus signatures get alerted on every month? It's like, those are numbers that you could be using. Not only do you use those for management, but you should know those because that helps you in your internal environment. That helps you understand what your network's doing. Those numbers are not just good for convincing management. Those numbers are good for you to understand your environment so you can better defend against it. So make those metrics, make those numbers, and make sure you have those every month and you can stand behind those numbers. Because then they understand that. Then at the end of the year, they have a graph of what kind of incidents have been going on and where they're going to need to place money. That helps you. So make the pie charts, make apple pie, whatever. Just give them those numbers and help them out with that because that does help you. Now, another thing is, and I would like to thank RSA, Sony, Northrop Grumman. Y'all have been awesome. Okay? If it wasn't for you, it would be so much harder for me to explain to my boss and stuff, exactly why we need to protect our network. LinkedIn was awesome. LinkedIn was a godsend. It's like, because I've always said LinkedIn's like the Facebook of businesses and stuff, So for them to get hit like that, every CIO has a LinkedIn profile. Each one of those were directly impacted going, oh crap, this is, okay, passwords are important. It's like, that was an awesome experience. A wise man learns from his mistakes. A wiser man learns from someone else's. Show them those other mistakes. Show them saying, oh yeah, did you hear about this breach and stuff? Send links. We have every 2 weeks, at my day job, we have a monthly management meeting, a 2-week management meeting where the upper management comes in, we talk about information security. Well, on the agenda, there's 2 stories at least that are current stories that talk about information security and something that we can tie into during our meeting. So they always understand that this stuff is still going on. It's always in their face that something like this could happen. Thank goodness it's always because it's somebody else. Your business only wants to be in the paper when they want to be in the paper. It's like, Paris Hilton doesn't care when she's in the paper. She doesn't care when she's on the news. Lindsay Lohan, whoever's the current, starlet or something, they don't care when they're in the press. Your CEO does. So it's like you have to understand that they don't want to be there unless they're planning it. So show them the mistakes of others. Show them those stories. Let them understand how that could have happened. Well, luckily, LinkedIn's got the problem because they didn't salt their hash. Oh, you want to understand what that means? Let me explain that to you. I can create you a document and stuff, and explain better why we have to have that process in our environment and how we do it differently to protect us. That engages them, that makes them interested. The more they know about your job, the more they know about what you do, the easier it is for you to do it. So you have to educate them. You have to let them know what's going on. Now, there's another problem with this, and I will tell you, every single mistake that I'm talking about, I have personally done. Okay? One of my worst faults when I first started in information security was I was the good guy. I was the guy. I was here because you don't know how to do security. I'm here to protect you. I'm here to save you. Do what needs to be done. It's like, guess what? No, that doesn't work. I am not in the job to eliminate risk. That was one of my hardest lessons to ever learn. I can't stop my business from doing something bad. If I see my CEO running off the cliff, it is not my job to stop him. That is not my job. My job is to scream to him, dude, there's a cliff over there, stop running. You're going to fall off the cliff. My CEO is going to keep running. And I'm going to go run up beside him and say, okay, look, you're going to keep going off this cliff. You need to either stop. Here's a parachute for $500, which will probably help you out really well. Here's an umbrella for €5 and stuff, you got a chance and stuff, it might, do some Mary Poppins wishful thinking and you might have a chance. It's like you give them options. You can't stop them. You can tell them the options that they can do to help mitigate that fall. But guess what? They can go, oh no, I'm good, and then keep running. And then they fall off that cliff. And your job is not even to go, told you so. It's just, that was it. That's what happens. That's your job. Your job is to understand in a business that they need to understand that you need to mitigate all the risks that you can. That's your job. Then your company is going to say to you, okay, we've mitigated all this risk. We still have some more risk. You know what? Let's offset some of that risk to some insurance companies. Or we'll offset this risk because we'll have a third party with a contract saying that they have to do a certain standard of security. So we'll offset some of that risk. And then you know what's going to happen? Then they're going to come up with, we're going to have to accept that risk. We're going to have to do business. We need that thing, the internet. That might be helpful for our business. We're going to have to keep that coming into our network. And I've been to companies that have actually cut down the internet before, stuff, and they've realized, yeah, we might still need that. So we have to show them those things. We have to show them it's like, mitigate as much risk as you can, offset what you can't, and then at some point you're going to have to learn to accept it. I mean, I accept it by, drinking lots of Pepsi and, playing video games. It's like we all have our different coping mechanisms, okay? But regardless of how you cope with it, you're going to have to accept some risk. You're going to have to understand that your company's not going to do everything that you say is the right thing to do. Because even though you think that you might be right, they still have to conduct a business and all these other considerations that you're not part of. So I had one time a CEO I came to him with a major problem that no one was listening to. So I totally went around impolitically correct and stuff, going around everybody and stuff to tell him directly that it was an issue. And he's like, man, Jayson, I need you to anytime you see something like this, I need you to start reporting to me and telling me these things. No, you don't. because you don't have the context. It's like this one, it was a special occasion, but if I come to you everything, you're going to like freak out and stuff, you know? It's like you're not going to understand how to cope with all that. It's like that's my job is to be the most harshest on the security. You need a filter. You know, my boss was the filter. He would take all that and then put it in a business perspective and then give it to the CEOs and the CIOs and stuff, you know, to let them understand. Because, you know, I'm always seeing, I don't see the nice, you know, green field and stuff, you know. I see the zombies that are about to come out of the trees at me. So it's like, that's my world. It's like, it's a really pretty world. It's great when you have kids because, you know, it's like, what's that? It's like, you know, what's going on? So it's like it's a paranoid parrot. So it's like, so that's how I live. I mean, I told someone in one time, it's like, you pay me to be paranoid. I mean, that's part of my job description. So when we're doing this, and one of the key things that we need to communicate through this is talking to management. All this that I've talked about, this whole part that I've talked about was one important thing. Communication. They don't have to understand us. They don't have to make an effort to understand information security. CIOs don't have to read Metasploit books. They don't have to learn how to do hacking classes. That's why they hired you. You have to learn how to speak with the terminology in the way that they can understand those risks. That's part of our job. They hire all these different people and all these different areas and stuff, you know. They're not fluent in all those different areas. They know how to make widgets. They know how to manage people to make widgets. So it's like, they're not going to understand how to secure the widgets. It's up to your job to explain to them the stuff that they need to know to make the right decisions so they can keep making those widgets securely. That's what we have to start teaching them. Now, one of the other things that we have a problem with is this phrase that I abhor so much. I think it's one of the worst phrases in our industry. Stupid user. Stupid user clicked on a link. Stupid user went to a website. Stupid information security didn't properly train their employees. That's what I say. Those employees are smart enough to do their job. You know, we would like to think that this is every single employee in our workforce. Sorry, it's not. They're smart enough to do their job. They got hired to do a job that they needed to do. They're intelligent and they're trainable, or they wouldn't be doing their job. So it is part of your job to teach them the other aspect of their employment, which is information security. We need to start training them on that, not just, you know, excusing their behavior by just calling them stupid. We need to realize we have a great workforce. I mean, these guys are intelligent. Trust me. If you don't think that you have creative and intelligent employees, take solitaire off their computer. Take solitaire off their computer, see how creative they get. See how fast solitaire comes back onto that computer. You know, deny them internet access to Facebook. You see how creative they can be. They can be creative. They will get their stuff when they're challenged. It's like I've seen more incidents of internal breaches done by boredom than malicious intent. Because you got Bob in accounting, and he's like just bored out of his skull, you know, because we took solitaire off the computer, so what else is he going to do? So, hey, let's click on the network neighborhood. Oh my gosh, there's all these servers. I wonder what they do. Oh, let me click on those. Oh, everything's read-writable. What? HR? There's an HR folder. Whoa. Pay raises? Awesome. It's like, where was the hacking in that? That's boredom. You have to understand your employees will be creative and they will creatively screw your network up royally if given the chance. So we have to start training them to do that. We have to start training them that they're part of the process. We can't just keep saying stupid user. So how do we go about and do this and stuff? You know, because we've got, you know, intelligent people working for us, hopefully, or they're not working for us for long. Well, it's three things I like to call. The first one is educate. We need to educate them. I was on a job on the West Coast and stuff, and I worked on these. I was supposed to go and break into 10 bank branches. That was my job, was to break into 10 bank branches and drop in a little phone plug and stuff, and get access and stuff to their internal network. I went in there. I had no valid ID for the name I was using because I just made the name up. I think it was from Firefly or, Farscape or something. So I used one of those names. I had no driver's license or ID that would back that up. I was wearing a blue work shirt that said DEF CON on it because I like to come with warning labels. And it's like a fake number that if you dialed it, it would have just gone nowhere because it was a fake number, and a fake company name. But I signed into the vendor log. I told them, I'm with we're trying to check out, there's power outages and stuff, and some brownouts at the main office, and we're going to make sure that your surge protectors are working properly because of the voltage regulation stuff, it's causing temporal shifts and stuff, with the main TCP stacks and stuff, that are coming through the network. So what I got to do is I got to plug this device in, they'll do the monitoring stuff, and it'll report back through the Ethernet. So I was like, just let me plug these in real quick. And also, by the way, while I'm doing that, I need you to take me a tour and make sure all the other computers have power supplies and power surge protectors. They escorted me behind the teller line, through the drive-through windows, through the vault area, all of it. I had a bag. I could have had an Uzi in there. It's like, but they left. It was America. I mean, come on. So I could have done all that because you know why? I didn't come in with a ski mask and a shotgun. If I would have gone into that bank with a ski mask and a shotgun, every single person would have responded the exact right way. They would have known how to respond. They would have done it properly. They would have set the silent alarm. They would listen to the commands. They would do everything that they were supposed to do. They would have handled it excellently because that's what they were trained for. They weren't trained for the weird geek dude and stuff, plugging in devices into their network. So we need to start educating them on those kind of attacks. Once we start educating them, they will respond properly. But it's not until that education happens we can hold them to task. So we have to start doing that. Another way to do that, and an important one, is we need to empower them. We need to make them feel confident. How many people in your facility, in your company, how many of the regular workers in the mail room, your CEO, how many of them know that they're part of the security team? Does any people in your employment know that they're also part of information security? That's one of their duties. No. So where do they go? Do they know where to report something suspicious? Do they know who to call when they get a suspicious email? Do they know who to contact if they see a stranger in the building? If they don't, why are we surprised when bad people get in? Why are we surprised when companies get compromised by emails? Because we're not showing them where to go. One of the basic things that you can empower an employee to do is if you see something strange, because they see everything day to day, one of the main things that you can teach them to look out for is just that, well, that's not usually happen. Weird dudes in DEF CON shirts with power thingies don't usually come into our building and stuff, and ask to plug stuff in. Maybe I should call somebody on that. Give them that power to do that. I've gone into so many facilities and I've seen that person's face and you can read it and they're like, this just doesn't look right. This doesn't seem like it should happen. Okay, go through. I mean, they see it, but they don't feel comfortable approaching it and saying something about it. That's not their fault. That's information security's fault for not giving them the empowerment to make that call. To say, hold on, let me call security real quick and check out. And I tell people, it's like, if you think that something fishy's going on and stuff, you don't have to tackle the dude, because it might be me. I don't want to get tackled, okay? You can at least let the person go through and then call security. There's a guy where I work right now and stuff, he sends me 5 billion freaking, maybe exaggerating a little bit, emails a week. Oh, look what I just got. He has sent me emails, I kid you not, spam emails that he received on his home email address at home. He decided to forward to me just so I'd be aware of it. Do you know what I say to that? Thank you. You're helping out. Thank you for being aware of it and stuff. Thanks for getting in touch with me, letting me know about that. We'll look into that. because he talks to his other coworkers about what he's doing. He's helping security. He feels like he's contributing to the security team. So when that 1,001th email comes in, and that's an actual something that's got a malicious link to it, guess what? I'm going to get notified of it. I'm going to be aware of it because someone is confident enough to let me know when those things come through. A thank you goes a long way in tuning a human IDS system. It's like just showing them that you're there and that you're aware. Now, one of the things is, how do you really show them that you're aware and that you're there? Well, that when the enforcement part comes in. It's like, yeah. I don't know if y'all even know this dude. Y'all know who this dude is? Okay. It's like, you can Google pepper spray cop or douchebag. I think they both, pull up the same guy. It's like a horrible person. So the thing is that we need to learn how to do enforcement. Enforcement is not browbeating until morale improves. It would be nice, but it's not working. How do we do enforcement? One of the things that I do for enforcement is that at least once a year, I will visit every single department, every single floor of every building that my company owns, at least once. And I will walk through that floor with my team, and we're going to look under keyboards. We're going to look around the monitors. We're making a big production of looking under keyboards, and people are asking, what are you looking for? I usually tell them Tanzanian dust mites, jokingly and stuff. It's like, no, I'm looking for passwords. It's like we're trying to make sure we got a password policy. Even if we find none, though, honestly, we do. It's like, even though if we find none, what did that occur? What did that achieve? They talked about it. We changed their day up. We did something different. They realized all that stuff that happens on the computer with passwords and security, there's actually real people attached to it. And they're actually taking it serious enough to visit in real life and look at them. That helps. The negative part of the enforcement comes, it's like when a virus alert goes off. I'm all adorable and cuddly up in here and stuff, okay? A virus alert, and I go down to your desk and stuff, because you're trying to transmute, and this has actually happened because we don't allow any executables through our email system. And when I first got there was a lot of problems and stuff with people, emailing solitaire.exe. It's like, thank you, portable executables. It's like, so they're mailing that sucker, out to everybody. I get to your desk, straight up, excuse me, I need you out of your seat, I need to sit down. And he has to stand behind me as I'm just clicking on stuff, just looking through stuff, Some stuff I'm just randomly, I already know what I'm looking for, but I'm making him stand up there and stuff, and I'm just, just random, Okay, and then I say, excuse me, do you understand there's a policy and stuff? Did you read our policy book and stuff, about executables in our email system? It's like, that was part of your job. It's like, we take this very seriously and stuff, there could be something that's malware or some kind of virus or something that goes through your email system. This is not allowed, and this is the reason why it's not allowed. It's like, so if you need to refer back to your policy, I can send you an email with the actual link. You can click on that one. It's like, I get out of there, I leave. Guess who I educated? Not just him. The 25 people around him that were looking and not looking, it's like, oh crap, that guy's freaking screwed. It's like, I trained all those people. All the people that those people are talking about at the water cooler going, did you see Bob get reamed by that guy? Oh my gosh, Bob's really getting a hard time here at this conference. But it's like, yeah, it's like that guy's like, he just really screwed up. It's like, and then they go home and tell their friends, oh my gosh, you seen this guy at work today? It's like some just idiot dressed really weird and stuff, came down and just tore this guy a new one. It's like, wow, I don't want to be Bob right now. That's how you do the education through enforcement. That's the negative kind. Another kind is a lady at our job. You know what she did? She found a USB drive in our parking lot. Chris. Oh, I'm sorry. It's like, so she found a USB drive lying in the parking lot. It's like, you know what she did? She didn't open it. She didn't put it in her computer to see what it was. She turned it into security. Her picture and the story of what she did and why it was important and the links to the actual policy on how we have USB drives was printed in our bi-monthly newsletter that goes to every single employee in the company. She gets to go, oh, look at me. I got recognition. But you know what happens to everybody else? There's that Bob in accounting going, that effing Sally. She's always getting the attention. She started the heart walk and stuff, and she did the cancer awareness training and stuff, Miss Goody too, she's always getting, now she's getting this. I can freaking stop people if they're trying to tailgate me. I can make sure people are doing their passwords right. I can get recognition for doing this. This is easy. I mean, it was Sally, for gosh sakes. So that's the kind of competition you can foster. It's like get people interested in trying to be recognized for doing something good. Create a reward system for that. So make them understand that they're part of the process. It's like, so those are the three things. We need to learn how to educate our employees properly. We need to empower them to act on those changes that they've learned. And then we need to give proper negative reinforcement and stuff when it occurs. And when an infraction happens or when something good happens. We need to understand those. Now, here's another thing, which this is one where I think it's going to be a little touch and go here, but I love the scene that there's a difference between information security and the information security scene. Okay, and I am talking from someone who was entrenched in the scene. Oh my gosh, there are pictures floating around. I'm actually using it in my next slides of me with blue hair, at DEF CON 12, looking like a complete raging idiot. I was horrible. I wrote a post on DEF CON's site in the speaker's corner talking about what a loser I was. And I was, honestly. It's like, it was terrible. It's like I took what I thought everything was supposed to be cool and stuff, watched Hackers one too many times or something, and just went nuts. But I've learned that there's a difference now, and there's a big difference, because this is actually when I created myself. This is our problem. 90% of information security is in the industry. They're right there in the industry. Isn't this a little cool? See? You know what that means? They go into work at 9, they get off at 5, they've got kids, they go bowling, they'll go fishing, they'll do other things I guess parents are supposed to do that I fail at miserably. They do all that stuff. Okay? They have, what's that called? A life. It's like, it's their job. Information security is just their job. It's their career. Is that bad? No. Without that 90%, the internet wouldn't be working. It wouldn't be functioning. It's like it would be total anarchy and chaos instead of the semi-anarchy and chaos that's going on right now. So we need that 90% to plug around. But there's a problem. We need to get that 90% more into the 8%, which is right here. The community. Guess what, guys? You're part of the community. You're coming to conferences. You're trying to learn more. Maybe you're doing research. Maybe you're doing a blog. And so, and you're trying to write and you're trying to get that message out there about information security. That is the ideal. This industry is not going to be 100% awesome until 100% of us are in the community. So we're trying to share the information that we have. So we try to get there and try to get that information out. It's like, now there's another side problem there, and so, because I said 90% and I said 8%, and even though I do suck at math, I realize there's 2% missing. You see that little dot right there? Little pimple on the butt of the industry right there? That's the scene. That's your Twitter ecosphere. That's your rock stars that get to go to all the conferences and stuff, which I was caught up in and stuff, at some point. It's like where it's like we didn't really understand what was going on. But you notice one important thing? Is the scene even touching remotely the industry? No. Most of the people in the industry don't even know that we exist like that, which is somewhat of a good thing. They don't understand that. It's like to them, they're just doing their job. So where are we communicating with? We're just talking in the echo chamber. We're explaining exactly how awesome we are because we can break these kind of protocols. Great. Until you give that information to the people that actually have to fix and patch those protocols, shut up. Start giving the information out to the people that need it instead of the people that already know it and stuff, and that reaffirm exactly how awesome you are. Because I am tired of InfoSec rock stars. It's about time that we understand it's not all that. And the best way to look at that I notice a lot of people are more quiet during this part of it for some strange reason. But I want you to understand this right here, and I'll read this out because I think it's really important. This was done by Henry Rollins. Listen to the stage manager and get on stage when they tell you to. No one has the time for your rock star BS. None of the techs backstage care if you're David Bowie or the Milkman. When you act like a jerk, they are completely unimpressed with your infantile display that you might think comes with your dubious status. They were here hours before you building the stage. They will be here hours after you leave tearing it down. They should get your salary and you should get theirs. They put in work. It's like you go on stage. It's like, what's wrong with this picture? It's like, that's why I love Henry Rollins. He was a singer for Black Flag, if you want to Google him and stuff, It's like, because he was a rock star. He actually deserved the title of a rock star. He just didn't act like it and throw it in your face. It's like, so we need more people like, Henry Rollins in our industry. You know who else we need more people like? David Lee. Not David Lee Roth. I know I'm talking about rock stars. David Lee. You know who David Lee is? He's a cop in Florida. He was patrolling his beat. He sees a Volkswagen Bug that he's never seen before in his neighborhood. So he decides to run the plates on that Bug. The car was stolen. He gets out and talks to the guy, pulls him over, gets in a tussle, almost loses his gun, almost dies, apprehends the guy. Do you know who the guy was? Ted Bundy. A lot of us know who Ted Bundy is. He's a famous serial killer in the U.S. I guarantee you ask anybody in Florida who David Lee is, you're going to get zilch. Nothing. No one's going to know that name. They'll all know Ted Bundy. They use that to scare their daughters when they go to college. Don't be careful. There could be a Ted Bundy around and stuff, He's like the boogeyman. But we don't know David Lee. What's wrong with that picture? Nothing. You know why? Because David Lee was doing his job. David Lee didn't do it to get a book deal. David Lee didn't do it to get a movie of the week or something, on television. He did it because it was his job. What about, Rolf Mueller? It's like, it's not no techno guy from Berlin, I promise, okay? It's like him and his partner were, driving out in this neighborhood. It's like in a very bad part of town. It's like, and they see this African-American guy running up to him, naked, handcuffs on, a little kinky. Didn't automatically assume the guy was on drugs. Didn't automatically assume that this guy was a crackpot. They didn't beat him down and try to arrest him and throw him in the backseat of their car. You know what they did? They asked him what was wrong. They listened to his story, and they then went back to the house that he was talking about and arrested Jeffrey Dahmer. A lot of us know who Jeffrey Dahmer is. And especially with all these zombie, cannibals eating people's faces and stuff lately. It's like, so we all know who that guy is. But what about Rolf? We don't know about him. He was doing his job. What about Jonas Salk? Not the Jonas Brothers, not to get in the pop thing. It's like nothing against Jonas because we're in Disney. So it's like, what about Jonas Salk? Are we familiar with him? He's not law enforcement. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't arrest anybody. He just cured polio. What I'm saying is, it's great to be a good guy, and it's fun to get attention, but it's even better to help out your community. It's even better to be able to be a positive influence in your community. That's what we need to start getting together. Now, there's a problem with that, and I've come across this, a few times here and there, and that is, we're a freaking cynical bunch. This whole positive reinforcement we're not so good at. It's like, especially among ourselves. I am telling you, I am the guy who walks into the bedroom and I'm like looking under the bed just in case. I'm the guy who sees something on television and I can tell you 5 different ways how that can go wrong. I live a very rosy, life. It's like, so what happens when people come up to you? It's like, the problem is when we start speaking out, there are so many people there to tell us what we're doing wrong. There are so many people there that you get afraid. That you're like, I don't want to say this. I might know that. So many people in this audience know the answers that the speakers are saying. A lot of people, I've given talks before, and I've known there's people way more intelligent than me in the audience and stuff, who could have given my talk. But they don't. They won't even raise their hand to answer a question that I know that they knew. Because they don't want the negative connotations from everybody else. F them. Totally. Haters are going to hate. I got a website with a link on my website and stuff, going to a Cat Williams, clip. That's their job. That's a hater's job, is to hate. Let them do their job. You do yours. You don't need to worry about that. You're being a positive influence in the community. Keep doing it. Screw everybody else. It's like, if you get called on it, and see, once again, I'm talking about me, not you. I've made mistakes. And I've been called out on it hard. Take the lumps. I learned from it. I haven't stopped. And I don't plan on anytime soon. But there is one thing that I want to see more of. And it's not me up on this stage. It's you. I want more speakers. There's been this talk about we have too many conferences and stuff, and there's too many speakers going on. No, not enough. I am tired of seeing the same people at the same conference giving the same talks. There are people in this audience right now that can give an awesome talk on research that they're doing. Local guys. I don't submit to a B-Sides anymore in America. I will not submit to another B-Sides to give a talk there. I'll go to them and I'll attend them, but I won't speak at them. You know why? Because I want to hear from the local people. I want to hear from someone else. I want to learn from you. There is a lot that I can learn from a lot of you guys in here. I'd like to start doing that. Stop looking at yourself and doubting yourself and saying, yeah, but no one's going to like my research, or my research has been done before. My gosh, it's 2012. Mostly everybody's research has been done before by somebody else. You have an interesting take on it. You have a different perspective that people would like to hear, because with the more voices, the better it gets. The more contributions, the better this community gets. And it's not going to get better when we sit back behind our computers and wail and whine about how bad the industry is. Until we're willing to get up in front of people and say, enough, let's start contributing. It's not going to get better. I've got a website, dissectingthehack.com. That site is open for any person who doesn't have a blog, doesn't have a website to commit to something, and wants to join the site and publish a blog or do a blog post. You don't have to have your own site. Put it on mine. My name doesn't get attached to it. I don't own the rights to it. You can delete it at any time you want. It's there for you to have a voice. There's plenty of sites out there besides mine that can give you a voice. Twitter gives you a voice. You can use that voice to echo and bounce off the echo chamber, or you can use that voice to make a difference. It's up to you. So that's one of the key things out of all this talk and stuff, if you're going to listen to anything and you're going to take anything from this conference, it's that you need to start contributing to this community. You need to get people in the industry more involved in this community. That's not, I'm very emotional because I really believe it. I'm very passionate about this conference. I love the passion this conference has for people, and we need to start doing that. Whew. Can I get an amen? Oh, sorry. Southern preacher style. Whew.